Hey, week 4 web journal here, um, which will be talking about stress, which we all seem to have our share of. I wouldn't say fair share because some days it does not seem very fair. Um, but the life stressors assessment in our textbook was really interesting. And since the questions are phrased more to prompt you to choose occurrences in your life that have happened in just the last year, my stress score was not as high as it could have been if the questions had been geared to include 2 or more years worth of stressful occurrences. Um, the past 3 years for me has had a lot of huge changes, which have included everything from a very nasty divorce where I lost everything, including my kids, loss of jobs. My income changed, and I moved 2 different times to 2 different states. I also left the religion I was born and raised in after finding out that it was a cult. I started a new job, which my job is actually awesome. It does bring its own stresses, but overall it's awesome. And I'm also going to school. So again, awesome, but still has its own stresses. Love it, but it's definitely a stress. um, in taking the assessment, taking into account the events of this past year, I scored a 452, which indicates a moderate amount of stress. Thankfully, though, I managed to get through the past few years by relying on a few things. First, my faith in God and Jesus. I also had the help and support of my husband to help get me through the adjustment of leaving the religion I was raised in and the ostracism that I ended up facing from family and friends that were part of that cult. I also was an avid fitness enthusiast. I lost weight and I worked out at least 1 hour a day in order to manage my stress doing so. Um, all the dimensions of wellness can be affected by stress in some way. The spiritual, physical, emotional, social, environmental, occupational, and intellectual dimensions of wellness can all be affected by stress in a negative way unless some stress management techniques are utilized. The past experiences I've had have affected my emotional and social dimensions of wellness specifically, and in some ways I still continue to struggle with them. Um, I've had my whole social circle and support group ripped away from me since I left that religion or cult that I was raised in, and my own family turned against me since they are all still members. Um, my social dimension also radically changed since most of my friends were members of that cult as well. And as soon as I terminated my membership, they decided not to interact with me, and even some turned against me, like my family did. Um, I married my current husband, and we had 2 moves. Our last one not being extremely easy. I'm also still working on my bachelor's degree and will graduate in August. Yay! Of this year, 2016. While I am working full time. Working full time and doing school is definitely a juggling act. I think the reason I'm still somewhat sane is the fact that I rely very heavily on my strong faith in God and Jesus that is rock solid. And to look to fitness as a way to manage my stress. I do have a few close friends I can talk to at times when needed, even if they are living long distances from me. I don't have a close social circle here local to me yet, but they are a support where I can give them a phone call or a text message or something like that. I also take time to do things which help me to relax, such as meditation, deep breathing, and reading good books. I like to learn new things, and I also like to improve myself, so I like to read a lot of good books. Stress can also cause your immune system to weaken over time and leave you more vulnerable to illnesses. Luckily, I've been very conscientious about my health over the last few years. I've tried to make myself eat healthy and take vitamins to boost my immune system, which has worked so far, as I have only been mildly sick maybe 3 times in the last year and a half. Some chronic illnesses which can be contributed to stress are high blood pressure, cardiovascular disease, weight gain, obesity, as well as mental disorders such as depression and anxiety, which can lead to psychosomatic disorders. And one of the relaxation methods which I could probably use better in my daily routine to help me manage my stress would be to take just 10 minutes out of my day to meditate, where I can lay still with my eye closed in a dark room and just do some deep breathing. That kind of quiet stillness helps me to feel more centered and grounded while helping me focus with a clearer mind on the day-to-day stressors that I have to face each day and how I'm going to handle them as I interact with them. So, but that's it for week 4. Again, thank you. It's been a great class. Love it so far. And we'll see you next week.